Hello guys, welcome back. Now in this session we are going to perform a lab on Terraform Provisioner Remote Exec. So let's jump into the Visual Studio Code to do this lab. So guys, we are into the Visual Studio Code, and to understand Remote Exec Provisioner we have to write the configuration for one of the project requirement. So here the project requirement is one of the project which wants a web server on AWS with Nginx installed. So to fulfill this requirement, we have to perform these solution steps to create the web server on AWS with Nginx installed. So the first step we need to perform create key pair to make SSH connection, as once we create the AWS instance, then we need a mechanism by which Terraform go inside the AWS instance which we have created. Then we need to create the security group resource where we need to specify the port number for accessing the AWS instance. Then in the third step, we will create the AWS EC2 instance, and that resource block we will name it as devbox. In the fourth step, we will make the connection to the AWS EC2 instance, and at last we will write the Remote Exec Provisioner block where we will perform the installation activities for Nginx web server. So guys, let's perform step 1, that is create key pair to make SSH connection. So to do that we need to go to the console, that is AWS console. So guys, we are into the AWS console, and to create the key pair we need to come over here, and over here in the network and security we need to choose key pairs, and over here we need to specify create key pair, and here we need to tell the name. So I am going to tell that tfkey create. So it will give us a PEM file. See here, tfkey.pem. So we need to save this file within our project directory. So let's do it. So guys, we have done the first step. We have created a key pair and we have kept that key within our project directory. Now let's proceed further and let's perform the step 2. So to do that, let's create a resource block. I'm going to tell that resource. Over here we need to tell resource, and then we need to specify the name AWS underscore security underscore group, and we need to specify the name. I am going to tell that allow SSH, and within that I am going to tell name equal to, I will tell allow SSH, and then if you want to specify the description you can specify that. So let's specify that as well. Here I'm going to use it for allow SSH inbound traffic. Next we need to specify the ingress rule, that is for inbound. So we will tell ingress, and over here within that we need to specify the description. If we want, we will tell that SSH into our VPC. Now we need to specify the port number. From port I am going to tell that port equal to 22, as we know that SSH is on port 22. Now next we need to also specify the to port, and over here we need to mention 22 as well, and then we need to specify the protocol, and that is going to be TCP. Then we need to specify the CIDR block. CIDR block here I am going to open for all. That is not allowed, but for this project I am just going to keep it for all. So how we will do that? We need to specify the CIDR block, which is 0.0.0.0/0. Now repeat the same thing for egress rule, that is for outbound. So let's specify that, and let's do some changes over here. We will tell egress, and over here this is for outbound, and over here we need to specify the port. It should be accessible from 0 to all the port, and all the port range is 65535. And next we need to specify TCP, and CIDR block is going to remain same as I have opened for all the port. So guys, we're done with the second step. Now let's proceed to the third step. Within the third step we are going to create the AWS instance, that is devbox. So let's do that. So for that I am going to create a resource block, and that resource is our AWS instance, and the name of the block is going to be devbox. So for this resource block we need to specify 3 arguments. One for AMI, which AMI I am going to use, another for instance type, which instance we are going to use, and the third one is the key, where we will specify this tfkey.pem. So let's specify that AMI equal to, over here we need to grab the AMI from AWS. We can do this with the data block, but I don't want to write that data block. Instead of that I will go to the AWS console. I will grab the AMI code which I have already copied. So let me paste it Now the next argument I need to specify the instance type. So over here I will specify t2.micro. Now the next argument I need to specify key name, and the key name is we have given tf key. So we need to tell that tf key. Don't specify pem over here. So guys, now the next step we need to create the provisioner, and over here how we will create the provisioner, we need to tell that provisioner, and we need to specify which provisioner I am going to create. I will tell remote -exec, and then over here we need to specify the connection. So connection block we need to introduce, that is over here, and then we need to specify what type of connection. It is going to be SSH, and then we need to tell that which user for. It is for EC2 user. Over here we need to specify that. Then we need to tell that I want to authenticate through the private key. So I need to specify the private key, and to grab this private key, as I already mentioned, there is one built-in method, that is file, and over here we need to access the location. So this is on the same route, so I will tell ./tfkey.pem. This time you have to mention the full name with the extension. Now next we need to specify the host. There is something called host, and that it should be self.public_IP. Now we are done with the connection block. Now the next step, we need to execute the command to install Nginx server. So let's do that. To do that, we are having a block that is called inline block. We need to tell that inline. So this argument we need to pass, and over here it should be list. So how we will represent list? In a square bracket, and within that we need to specify the command which we want to execute, and that should be within double quotes. So here we need to specify sudo amazon-linux-extras install-y. So these commands vary from Linux to Linux. Now specify over here Nginx 1.12. Now the next step, we need to start the Nginx server. So for that we need to write sudo systemctl start Nginx. So now we are done with our steps. So let's execute our program. So how do we execute? As usual, we need to go to the view terminal, then write Terraform init to initialize the provider. Once provider initialization done, we need to specify Terraform plan enter. It is throwing an error as we did a mistake over here. We forget to mention comma. So let's save it and let's run it again. Terraform plan enter. So guys, it has given us the plan. It is going to create two resources, one for the security group, another for the AWS instance. So let's do it. We will tell Terraform apply enter. It is asking for confirmation. Make sure that you are specifying yes over here. So it has started creating AWS security group. Now it is creating AWS instance, EC2 instance. So now over here it is trying to make the connection. Now it is connected. Now it has started installation of the Nginx, and now execution has been completed. And if you will look into that, it has performed all the steps which we have specified within Remote Exec. And it is also mentioning that which of the commands which is being executed within the EC2 instance with the help of Remote Exec. Now let's verify whether Nginx is properly installed or not. So how we will verify that? Let's look into that. We need to come to the EC2 instance, click over here within the running instance, and then we need to grab the public IP. Copy this one, come here, paste this, and you will see that it is hitting the Nginx server. So that means we have properly configured, and this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. Now let's conclude this session. So guys, in this session we have started with a requirement where a project wants web server on AWS with Nginx installed, and to fulfill this requirement we have come up with the solution steps, where within the first step we created the key pair, then we have created the security group, and we have allowed the port for both inbound and outbound rule. Next we have created EC2 instance, then we have created the provisioner block, and within the provisioner block we have created two things. One is the connection block, where we have specified the connection configuration, and second thing, we have specified the command which we want to execute within the EC2 instance with the help of Remote Exec. So on this note, I am stopping over here. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care.